What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Turning Coal into Diamonds. Today, we have a blast from the past for me, kind of like a friend from high school, if you will. Gideon Connelly. He's a former aircraft mechanic with the Maryland National Guard and U.S. Air Force. He's also an amputee. And I've been following his story, and he really, I feel like, is such an example of the Turning Coal into Diamonds brand, if you will, just because I've seen like you've just really, it's never stopped you. It's been like you've been so positive, so inspirational, and you're like in the fitness world. You're a model. You're on book covers. You're just out there doing your thing, and I feel like that's such a inspiration to anybody. Like if you can still put a smile on your face and look at like and have a great day, like why can't anyone? You know what I mean? And so
Absolutely.
Thank you for being here, but introduce yourself as well.
Yeah, as you said, I'm Gideon. Now, modeling is it's my outlet. It's my uh, favorite thing to do to make money. It's not even, to me, it's not a job. It's just like a passion. And when I make money off of it, it's just like, oh, well, okay, there's some bread that I can stack away. But no, I've always been the kind of person that you work hard, you make a living, and that's that blue collar lifestyle, you could say. That's what I've always been bred for, and so aviation right now it's my full-time job. Actually, I just took a job out in California, so I'll be moving out there within the next within the next 2 months.
What part?
Palmdale.
Oh, I live like not Palmdale's kind of far, but like it's not far. Like it's weird because LA and the traffic and time is like it's not far, but it's far.
Yeah. So if you look on a map, I think it's like 45 minutes, but if you actually drive it, it's probably like an hour, hour and a half.
Yeah. Exactly.
So
you've been out California, I'm sure.
Yeah, I spent like 2 weeks, 3 weeks in January out there. I was supposed to spend just New Year's out there, and then it just turned into New Year's. And then my friend was like, "Why don't you stay a little longer? Why don't you have fun?" And I was like, "Hey, you know, COVID, all this stuff is happening." Well, no, COVID wasn't even around. It was there, but it wasn't like in the presence in the United States. So I stayed out there for a while, hung out, and loved it. And it's been a bucket list thing. So I'm just checking my bucket list off as I rack up these years, man.
Yeah. It's hard not to love LA in some way, or just California or something. I think what people don't realize is California really has a little bit of everything. Like there's mountains, so there's especially like Big Bear gets snow. People don't realize that there's like snow in Southern California.
Absolutely.
But so explain a little bit of this aviation to, if you're pretend you're talking to a super gay Black man. pretend.
Okay. So basically I fix planes. Anything to do with hydraulics, engine compartments, flight controls are my specialty. Flight controls, landing gears, things like that. So I've been a crew chief, which is basic aircraft maintainer, for 12 years. Actually, let's knock 4 years off of that. So so about 9 years in the military, and I'm back in the military. I just transferred to Herbert Field, actually, in Florida. And working there full time, and right now, while this whole pandemic thing is going on, and I'm waiting to get my orders cut to go out to California. And so that's just my full-time job. I'm also starting like a couple little LLCs here on the side, trying to do a consulting business and things like that, and trying to diversify my life and make that what do they say? Like millionaires, billionaires always have 5 sources of income, right? So I figured
more funnels and tunnels and
that's it, man.
Yeah, for sure. I love that. Well, let me ask you this: how you talked a little bit about modeling and stuff like that. What kind of inspired you to get into that world, and what's your experience been like with that? I know you're signed with what, Wilhelmina, New York, and
Yes.
what's that like?
Yeah.
Do you travel to New York then a lot?
What's that?
But do you travel to New York a lot then?
Not as much as I like. So honestly, I've been. I guess we'll start from the beginning. Before I lost my leg, I was getting into modeling. I really wanted to do it, but I had no like grasp on it. I had no I had nothing to show. And I was still like this prepubescent little boy that no one really cared to look at. Nobody paid attention to. Didn't know where my freaking bicep from my hamstring was.
Oh, damn.
And then I was like, all right, well, let me just go into like an acting school and figure it out. So I did. And I think it was in Towson. And I went to an acting school there.
Towson. You are straight up a Baltimore man.
Yeah, man. You know.
Of course. Yeah.
So I went to Towson and I, found this acting school, and I realized really quick, thankfully I was a smart kid. And I had a lot of common sense, not a lot of book smart, but common sense. And I realized that they're just out to take your money. So I quickly backpedaled out of that. And I started, the aircraft thing full time. That's what I was doing in the Guard. And then I lost my leg. And, fast forward, I was like driving for this athlete thing. I wanted to be a professional athlete. And I was driving for that. And then all of a sudden, one day on Facebook, as it always is, somebody gets a DM, somebody gets something, and it changes their life, right? Well, I got a DM from a photographer out in California, Michael Stokes, and he was shooting all these famous amputees. And I said, all right, let me give it a shot. He's like, come out here and let's shoot. We'll play around, see what you like, see how you do it. And I shot with him, and man, I went from 0 followers on Instagram to like 5,000-6,000 overnight. And
oh, wow.
I built that platform up, and then I think I had like 20,000 followers on Facebook after that. And so I decided to stick with it. I got hit up by a couple of photographers here and there, did the book covers, things like that. Then I started getting out to LA more, and people were like, you should really try Wilhelmina. You should try Wilhelmina. And it was like, I've shot out emails as everyone does. You look up an email, you shoot it out, you figure it out. And
that's resume stuff, whatever. Yeah.
Yeah. So that never worked for me. So I was like, you know what? I'm just going to do it on my own. And I did it on my own for 5-6 years. And I did the book covers. I did magazine covers. I did print ads. I was in for some big name underwear brands. And I never really landed anything. And then, I was out in LA, and I was talking to my best friend, and he was actually, he was signed with Willa. And he's like, man, listen, I'm not going to help you. Nobody helped me. I'm not going to help you. And I respect that. I love that. So that pissed me off. And I was like,
I can see that.
You know what?
I might be a little bit like, really?
Yeah. So I was like, you know what, man? This is what I'm going to do.
Yeah.
I was like, give me a name.
Yeah.
And he gave me a random name. And luckily, this person's name was very unique. And I was able to find it, found his email address. Actually, I didn't even find his email address. I knew the guy's name, his full name. And I got their email address, and then I was like, let's just email and see what happens. And then overnight, boom, got it. Went up to New York, signed with them right before COVID. So right after I left LA, I went up to New York for 2 months, and I was like, all right. So I went up to New York, and I did this little print ad with them. I filmed with them, and they signed me right there, and it was like awesome. Like, this is what I needed. And they did. And unfortunately, I got it to that point, and then all of a sudden, boom, COVID happened. I was booking. I had so many final, like I was like my friends, booking in Europe and London and South Africa. And I was like, so I booked a big shoot down in South America.
Oh.
And then all of a sudden COVID happened and I couldn't fly. And you know how it goes. So
did you
continue? I'm still working on it.
Can you say that one more time?
I said to be continued. I'm still working on it.
Continued, yes. And I feel like, I mean, I don't know what it's like in the modeling world, but I know in our world, commercials and stuff are kind of picking up right now, and auditions and that stuff. But was there ever a point where did you give up maybe, or did you discourage when you lost your leg before modeling took off? Did you think that you were still going to be able to have a career in modeling, or were you still kind of like pursuing that? Did that ever discourage you?
That's a really good question. And there's a whole lot of aspects that go into that. So when I initially lost my leg, I didn't know what to do, man. I was 21, and I tell this story. I want to watch your face as I say this, but I tell this story, and people like they throw off when I say this. But I was a glorified douchebag, man. I hated myself. I hated like when you're in a situation and you just see yourself responding to people, and you think about you're like this little angel up here just looking down, like, dude, stop saying that. Like, you're an idiot. Stop saying that.
I've been there once or twice.
I was that person all the time. I could see, I was on the outside looking in, but I couldn't control what was going on inside.
Wow, interesting.
And so the way I looked, the way I acted, how big I was, I was this 21-year-old jacked up kid, and taking all these supplements that I had no idea what they did. I was just taking everything you could buy from GNC, because I wasn't smart enough to figure out how to get.
That's so funny. You had
whatever you
membership? Did you have a membership? One of those monthly, like you spend so much, you get like some back?
They didn't have that back then.
Oh, really?
I'm throwing it back, man. This is 11 years ago.
Yeah.
So, I was taking everything you could get, and I was like, man, I look good. Let me go tanning. Let me go, get the best clothes I can. And I looked good, and I knew I looked good, and I couldn't stand it. So when I lost my leg, man, it humbled me to a point where I was like, you know what, I can use this, but it's going to be a while before I can use this again. And I built myself up. I went back to the gym, and man, let me tell you something. I'm not one to wear sweatpants. I'm always sweating. Sweatpants and hoodies, because I went from I was like 205 at the time, and I dropped down. When I lost my leg, I was 130, 138.
Wow. That's like what, 65 pounds, something like that. 60, 75 pounds.
Yeah, I didn't eat anything because I was in this health mode, right? And then they send me to Walter Reed, and I'm like in there eating ho-hos, ding-dongs, and milkshakes, and I'm like, I'm not eating this crap. So I didn't eat anything for the longest time, and I lost all this weight, and depression set in. And when I got out of it, I thought about it, and I was like, what can I do to better myself? Because I'm too young to give up. I'm only 21 at this point in time.
Wow.
And my life, I have my whole life ahead of me, and I met so many influential people in there that I remember to this day. And these guys and girls, they really drove me down a path where I was like, you are a pretentious little prick, and you need to wake up and realize that anything's possible in life.
Yeah.
Anything. You can do anything you want, anything you put your mind to. Somebody that's 800 pounds, if they want to run a marathon, give them 4 years. they can lose the weight, they can get out there and they can go do it.
Okay. I was like, where are you going with that? Because I was like, I mean,
no, it takes time.
Okay. I was like, yeah, you gave him some years. So I was like, all right.
It's a big time, you know. I got my leg amputated in September. I got in the accident in July. I got my leg amputated in September, and I was walking by Thanksgiving, not very well, just hobbling around. But I got my first prosthetic, and what's that?
Was it painful? Before I get into any of that, can you talk a little bit about the story and how you lost it? Are you comfortable with that?
Yeah, absolutely. So I lost it in a motorcycle accident in my back alley in Dundalk.
Oh my, no way. Stop.
Yes way.
Wow, and too.
I had just gotten off my job and I had bought a ticket to go see my, at the time, 17-year-old sister, about to turn 18. That next day, I was going to fly down to Atlanta. I just met her. I had just met her probably like 3 months before this.
You had just met your younger sister?
Yeah.
Wow.
Just met her for the first time. And I was like, you know what? This is outside family. So let me go surprise her for her 18th birthday. So I did. I attempted to.
Oh yeah.
Some body parts fell off and I couldn't make the flight.
Oh my God, stop. I cannot with you.
So yeah, I got home and I was like, I got this stupid feeling in my stomach. I shouldn't take my bike out, but I'm like, I'm going to ride it down to the street. I'm going to go to the gym and, I get on the bike. I'm like, I shouldn't do this, but I'm going to do it anyway. So I start riding down the street. And
what do you think? Why were you thinking not to do it? Was it like dangerous weather or something, or were you just had a feeling?
I've talked to a million people, about a million that had a million different bad accidents in their life, and every time it's just like you get this pit feeling in the bottom of your stomach that something's gonna happen and something ain't right. Some freak thing is gonna happen, and that's what it was. But I ignored it, just like most people do, because obviously they wouldn't be there to tell the story if they weren't.
Yeah.
So I ignored it and I got on the bike and I rode down the alley and, I'm riding and I, go to let off the throttle because I'm coming up to the edge of the alley and nothing happens. The bike's still going at the same speed. I was like, whoa.
What? No.
So a new rider, I only had the bike for probably a total of, I'm going to say I had the bike for maybe 3 months, 4 months. And I had already torn my ACL on it. I was learning on it. I was learning on a crotch rocket that I had no business riding. It was a 1000. Tore my ACL a couple weeks before that. Got it repaired. Had a cast on. I had my leg tied to the side of the bike.
How do you tear your ACL riding a motorcycle?
You freak out and you put your leg down and then you plant your foot and the bike goes the other way and there goes your knee.
Okay.
So yeah, me figuring out how to do all this, I tore that. But I'm riding down the alley and the bike doesn't stop and I'm like a new rider and I'm like, this ain't right. So I start hitting the brake. The brake's slowing it down, but not enough.
Yeah.
And a car whips around the alley. And the alleys in Baltimore, they're not very big. You got concrete walls on either side, and you got maybe, if you're lucky, you have a fence that you can dive off into. Yeah, I had none of that. It was just me, the barriers, and the car. And so I, dipped out of the way of the car, ended up cracking the throttle. The bike went up on a wheelie, and I had no time. So I was like, you know what? Let's just bike this, and I slammed the bike down. And as I said, I had the knee brace on. My knee caught on the side of the bike. I was sliding with the bike. The alleys are concrete, and then the road is asphalt. And as soon as it got on the road, the peg stuck in. The bike flipped over. my leg landed on top of a curb, hanging over the side of the curb, and the bike came down on top of it, guillotined it off, rolled over on top of me. I don't know if you know, but it's like, no, this is happening to me right now.
I was like, I should have really braced myself.
Your eyes are so big. Like those little things you get out of the claw machines. Just staring at you. But yeah, so the bike rolled over on top of me and caught my arm. It ripped my arm through a fence. I went through that fence into a cast iron table and landed there. And I was like, all right, I'm good. Got up, went to walk, took a couple steps. I'm like, man, they felt funny. And then I get hit from the side. Some dude like tackles me. And I'm like, what's going on? I got to grab my helmet while this dude's on top of me. And I'm trying to push him off, but my arm is not like going where I want it to.
Yeah.
I'm like, what is going on? So I stand up. Like, I don't know what happened. He like kind of hit, it's blurry, but like from what I remember is like he kind of hit me and staggered off. I stood up again. But that time my knee snapped in half, my right knee. It snapped completely in half. And then I went down. I go to get up and I drag my foot up, but obviously my left leg, the foot's not there. It's just dangling by the Achilles. And I see the blood squirting out and I'm like, oh, that's not good. So I go to grab my helmet with my right hand and my right hand's not there. Look down, it's completely backwards. This is like touching my shoulder. And I'm like, yeah, it's not supposed to be there.
Right, yeah.
So I get my helmet off finally with my left hand, and I like start trying to crawl down the alley. I'm like, if I get home, I'm fine. Like, I'm good if I get home.
Why did you get home?
Safe place, safe haven.
Yeah.
And I was like,
obviously you're in shock. You're just like,
my whole childhood, I've always had trauma about, always do the right thing. And I was like, in that time frame, I was doing the wrong thing. The wrong thing was happening, and I needed to get out of that situation. But this gentleman tackled me and waited for the ambulance. But funny, not so funny story. My trainer in the Air Force at the time was the EMT that showed up. And all I remember is seeing his face, and he looked at me and was like, just silent. And the girl was like, whatever the female was that was there, she was, you got to go sit down. You can't be doing this. You know him. And after that, all I remember is like them they were cutting my shirt off, and I'm like hey, just give me my water. Give me my water. I'll be okay. I just need some water right now.
Shut up.
I just need some water. I'll be okay.
My water bottle. Just my pre-workout.
Man,
good.
I had my pre-workout in me. I remember throwing that up that night at the hospital. Looking up at some nurse holding a bedpan, and he was like, why is your throat purple? Like, man, it's that Ravage. It's that GNC Ravage.
Jesus.
So, yeah, man. And I remember when I came to at the first emergency room, I saw my uncle there, and all I could remember saying to him is, I'm sorry. Because, I've always apologized for everything that I did when I was younger. And he was just like, you were in an accident. What are you sorry for? And I'm like, look at me. And I looked down. All I remember is there's no pictures of it anymore. I think my cousin deleted the pictures, but on accident. But there was all I remember was just me covered in blood from head to toe. And they were trying to reassemble my body parts in the place that it was supposed to be, but everything was so mangled and torn up. And it amazes me thinking back to that moment, because they couldn't give me pain pills for the first couple hours. They couldn't give me anything because they needed to do a drug test, I guess. And
wow.
Whatever happened, they couldn't do that. So
yeah. What were you on?
Nothing that I wish I was at the time. I felt everything.
Damn.
No, but I actually remember after the fact, I guess the cop told my cousin, because another good story. I didn't have my motorcycle license.
Oh my Gideon.
I've been riding a bike for 8 years.
Wow. Wait, you had your bike for 8 years without a motorcycle license?
No, now. I've been riding this whole time.
Wait. You still ride motorcycles?
Oh yeah, I just sold my last one.
What's wrong? Okay.
Yeah, man, listen. It's like the night you go out drinking, you got to get up and drink again in the morning. You got to grab a beer. The hair of the dog, man. You just got to keep going. I remember getting out of the hospital, and my homeboy was there, and he's like, "Listen, bro, you're gonna get on this bike and ride it down the street, whether it's pretty or if it's glorious or not." And I got on that bike and I straddled it and I rode it down the street and I put it in park and got off of it, and I was like, all right, I'm good. Wow. And it took me like 3 years to get on another bike, but
you didn't just do that in September or November.
I did ride it then, but not very well, and I didn't own another bike until I actually got, riding dirty, how we all do.
all ride dirty.
We get the dirt bikes out and cruise down the city and we get in trouble. I remember riding through all the school zones and stuff. They were building a new school in Dundalk, and I'd go hit the mounds on my dirt bike and stuff, and cops would chase me and get back home. But I'm doing all that juvenile delinquent crap.
Yeah.
And so I just got a little dirt bike, and I started messing around with that, and my boys had them. And then I got here, and I decided I was gonna get another bike, and I got a little 76 Honda CB550, and I wanted a cafe racer, so I retrograded this thing. I put
pretend that you're talking to a gay black man again. Pretend. For fun.
Very old antique Honda motorcycle from Crotch Rocket from back in the 70s. And I wanted it.
Hard. I understood that.
Yeah. So, put the LED lights on it, make it fast, make it look fast. It's not fast.
Okay.
Make it look good. And it was an attention grabber, man. It was great. I loved it. Riding down the street, everybody would look at it.
Oh man, you are a douchebag, or were a douchebag.
I still have a little bit of that in me. It's not completely gone, but for the most part, I try to be the best you can possibly be.
We all have a little something that makes us whatever.
Something that makes me something. I figured it out.
We ain't all saints. So, talk a little bit. This is what I was asking right before we got into the story is, so what was it like relearning to walk then with the prosthetic? Was it, because I've seen you have different prosthetics. You run, you have like a running one you've done. There's ones for different occasions, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
Were they painful at first, or how was that? You sound like you learned how to handle it pretty fast. You went within 3 months, it sounds like, or something like that, was it?
Yeah, so I got my first prosthetic on Thanksgiving, and my uncle said, "You're going to learn how to walk." So he took my happy ass to New York City.
And when was the accident again?
July of 2011.
July, and then in November already you were kind of getting back.
Walking. Wow. I was walking. I got it amputated. I didn't get it amputated to the middle of September.
Oh, really? It was still
Yeah.
You weren't. Could you use it? Wait.
No, it was in an X-Fix. It was these metal braces that go over your legs, and they got these halos on, and both my legs were in it. If you go to my Instagram, you can see one of the pictures. I'm like sitting on this tower in Scotland, and then if you scroll through, you see all the gory details and all that stuff.
Okay.
And so yeah, I had that on for a while, and then one night, in my days of glory and ketamine and Dilaudid and morphine and whatever else I was on in the hospital,
I was like,
he
what
wasn't
kind
a
of
doctor. He was a resident. He came in and he was like, listen, man, you need to get this cut off. Like, you can't keep this on. And I was like,
how was somebody random that told you that? It wasn't like a doctor?
It was a resident. He was, in training to be a doctor, but
Gotcha.
he was my saving grace. He was like, you'll be better off with a prosthetic. You'll be more functional. And, my vain ass is like, whatever I can do to get back up and running again. And you obviously seen my videos and stuff. Running is like everything to me. Like I would cut my fingers off to be able to still run. Like I love it. I may not be the best at it, but as long as I can do it, I'm happy. It's like
something tells me you might be a little faster than me still.
I got some wheels still. They're still there, but it's nothing special. Obviously I didn't make any Olympic team, but it was hard at first. It's painful. You get this plastic thing put on, and they say, "Here, go walk in this bucket and tell me how it feels." And so I did, and I was just watching this Facebook story the other day. I was teaching some amputee how to run on a walking leg that was like 15 pounds. It was the most gaudy thing that I've ever worn. But at the time, it was the best thing ever, And
so you've actually gotten to see an evolution in prosthetics over time.
God, it's amazing. Like even amputees now come up to me and they're like, "Dude, where do you get your leg?" I'm like, "Where do you?" I go all the way out to the West Coast, man. This guy in Seattle, he's actually in Puyallup, and I go out and see this guy. He's a lifesaver for me. Very expensive leg. It is not cheap, and insurance pays a good portion of it, but not everything. But it's worth it to me, whether if I have a small car payment after I'm done or not. It's my life. It's my life. It's my livelihood. It's everything to me. It's like, if you're a race car driver, you're going to get the best car that you possibly can. That's your livelihood. Well, I got to get the Ferrari of legs so I can do my thing. And I was watching myself run on this video, and I'm just like, oh, what am I doing? Like, this is terrible looking. And it's just the evolution of me learning how to run, gritting my teeth and baring my face. And now I just look like this, wounded gazelle instead of like this. Instead of this, like this little porcupine that just got stepped on by an elephant.
So what was your first like modeling gig with the prosthetic like? How did you feel? And what time frame was that after you had been walking again? Like, were you confident, or was that something that you were kind of nervous about, or was it like, did you quickly just kind of get back into like, yo, I'm the shit, I got a good leg and I'm moving on and I'm grooving? Or was it like, was there time that you had to get used to that and adjusted?
Well, it wasn't so much the leg. It was the whole mindset that I had lost all this weight. I was this big dude. I looked good at the time, and I was muscular, and I had lost a lot of weight, and I wasn't happy with my body. I was miserable with my body. It just looked like this skinny kid again, and I was like, "This is not going to happen." I took in December in New York City for Christmas. I took one selfie in the bathroom. I still have that selfie somewhere. And I took one selfie in the bathroom. I was like, I look like a dad bod right now. And that wasn't even a thing back then.
Yeah.
And this is in 2011. And I was like, this looks to me, no, this can't happen. This is not going to be you. So that very same day, I went to the gym. My uncle had to rest up. My uncle was a big man. He was well into almost 400 pounds. And his thing was, we're going to go to all these Broadway shows. We're going to go out to dinner. We're going to go see friends. We're going to go explore New York City. But we are going to walk the entire time.
Oh, wow.
And I wore Timberlands like a complete dumbass. Wow. Yeah. With a prosthetic in New York City.
So with your prosthetic, you're able to wear shoes then as well?
Oh yeah, man! I have more shoes than I guarantee you. I have probably more shoes than
you wore Timberlands to walk around New York, first of all, and then with one prosthetic, wearing the Timberlands.
Yep,
that's hard.
Yeah, I was still vain in my head, man. Like I had to match my pants. I still have it.
Bro, I'm there with I remember because I had to go to flip flops the last couple of days of my last New York trip.
You see, I mean, it's beauty is pain, right? You gotta.
Yeah.
If the shoes look good with the outfit, you gotta wear it. You know. But
beauty is pain. I've said it to many people.
Oh, I am a glutton for punishment with that because it's funny because I'll go out like now. I'll go on a date with a girl and they're just like, why do you match better than why do you and I'm like, hey, you know, I just try my best to feel my best, you know.
Yeah, of course. I'm a firm believer in like you gotta like I like to look good to feel good as well, and not because it makes like you can feel good without looking good, and it's just like it's when you make up your bed in the morning, that's one thing that you've accomplished for the day, and it sets a mindset for the rest of the day. You know what I mean? You feel like you accomplished it. So when I look good, it helps like my confidence. It helps how I feel about myself and all that. You know what I mean? I feel like that stuff feeds into like taking care of yourself is such a great way to self-care and love yourself, and I'm about it.
Hey man, listen. Yeah, I'm right there with you. I get up in the morning, 3 a.m. every morning. I make my bed.
I didn't say any of that. I did not say. Y'all didn't hear me say that.
I make the bed. I get up. I make my breakfast. Always an egg white omelet with a side of toast and avocado or almond butter or something, and you know, look good, feel good. Then you do your stretches. Then you come up and you shave, you know, edge up your face, you make your hair look good, you get the trimmers out every morning. It's bad, dude. Yes. In the mirror, and people like, how do you?
I mean, you do. That sounded like I don't grow much facial hair and stuff like that, but I do try and keep it lined up and stuff like that.
You know, like I try to keep this all lined up and try to look good at least. I don't like looking like a scranging, mangy mutt on the side of the road.
Can't do that with 12,000 followers.
You know, my 5 a.m. pictures in the car where I'm like driving down the street and it's completely black and all you can see is my teeth.
Well, because the zone, we wake up at the same time. Mine's just 7:30, 8 a.m. That's more like that's my time frame.
Yes,
that's cool.
You know, when I get out there, I'll still be waking up at 3 a.m. It's just
that's wild. So why 3 a.m. though? Come on, Gideon.
I like to get stuff done, and people like I get this question all the time. And the older I get,
you know, like a 5 a.m., a 6 a.m., a 7 a.m. That's still not good enough. You don't think so?
Well, you know, so if it is, but right now, you know, I have to be to work right now.
Got you.
I have to be to work at 5:45. So.
Shenanigans. Oh wow, okay.
Yeah. So I wake up at 3 a.m. But normally, if I'm not working and if it's the weekend, I get up around 5 a.m. You know, I make sure I get my. Come back now! Don't run away!
You slept in 5 a.m.
5 a.m. Man, you got to get up. You got to get stuff done. It's it's important. You you have all this cognitive thought in the morning, and I'm so bad with my phone, and I'm trying to fix that. The whole mental aspect. And you wake up, you look at your phone, you waste all this time, and
Brody, stop. Yeah, tell me about it.
I'm a meticulous guy, and I have OCD really bad, and it's bad. I have to like go through and dissect everything and make sure all the the folders are opened up and all the little notifications are gone. And
yeah, I hate notifications. I have a thing about that too. I hear you.
It gives me, I had to like slide my phone away from me and turn it over here because it's like going off, and I'm like, gotta look at it, but it's always about getting that fresh start in the morning, get the best thing you can done, and work your way down from there. So you get your most important things done early when nobody can bother you. And then you start working on the little things later in the afternoon. Because I know by like 1 o'clock, I'm starting to feel that little falling asleep thing.
Bro, I wake up at 8 and I'm tired by like 1:30 for sure. I can imagine waking up at 3.
It's bad. So like the other day at work, I'm throwing around all this weight, these 300-pound desks, these 300-pound lockers. And one of my coworkers was like, what are you doing? I was like in the room changing to go to the gym. I was like, oh, I'm going to go run, I'm going to go do my track workout. And then I'm going to go, I'm going to do a 400 breakdown. And then I'm going to go to the gym and I'm going to, work out. And then I'm going to do some abs, and then I'm going to do a cool down. And it doesn't matter what I do throughout the day. I always get my 3 to 4 hours of workout in.
3 to 4 hours of working out?
Yes. I don't have a life, man.
There you go.
That's my life.
So what time do you go to bed?
Usually around 11:30.
Got it.
And up by 3.
Is there anything that I haven't asked that you wanted to share or that you wish that I did ask?
I'm a big believer when you're capable of anything in life. And I want people to know that life is all about what you make it. If you have any kind of inkling that you can do something, you just have to believe you can do it, and you will be successful at it. It's just your will to get there. Like, I know if I want something done, I'm just going to do it. Just do it, and it will happen.
You're looking for a Nike sponsorship on here or something?
I know, right?
If
they didn't trademark it, that would be my LLC name. Just do it. But no, it's life it's all about opportunities, and opportunities not taken. If you don't take those opportunities, then you never know what's going to happen. That's why I moved in from the East Coast to the West Coast and doing that jump that you did.
Yeah. They say you always miss the shots you don't shoot, right?
Yeah. And that's exactly why I'm doing it.
Right.
I'm taking this wild thing, and I'm going to go out there and see what's going to happen.
I love that. And then last little question we ask everybody on the podcast. We have all heard the quote, "Be the change you wish to see." What's the change you wish to see, and how are you going to be it?
A better society. When I told you I was a douchebag, like that glorified douchebag, and I won't go back there. No matter how much I may have those thoughts in my head, I will never pursue those thoughts. I will always think, what's the right thing to do? And I'm going to go do it. So like in situations where someone's reaching out to me for help, if I feel that I can help that person, I'm most certainly going to do it. It's like, take the shirt off your back for someone, and down the road that, somebody will give you that shirt back. It may not be that person. It may not be immediately, but I have this one thing that it's like, if I go out of my way for somebody and I help them, the littlest thing, it always comes right back to me, like almost immediately. And it's not because I want that to happen. It's like, I honestly, genuinely feel good about helping someone else out. And, if more people could do that in the day and age that we live in, this sad and miserable, lonely time of being stuck in the house and living by face masks and depression and watching the world burn down and everything else that's going on. I love your face right now. Just be that good person. Just reach out and help someone else out. That's just all I want to see in this world.
Awesome. I love it. So share the socials. Where can they find you? Where can they stop?
Instagram is Gideon Con. So it's GIDEONCON. And then all my links is on my Instagram. So you got it from there.
Dope. Well, for everyone here, thank you guys so much for tuning into an episode of Turning Coal into Diamonds. You're already listening and watching, so you know where to find us, but it's TCID Podcast on all socials. And YouTube, it is TCID Gerard Cole. And if you want to follow me, of course, Gerard Cole is I am Gerard Cole on all social media platforms. And as always, make sure that you guys continue to turn coal into diamonds. And actually, lastly, I'll say, make sure you guys are registered to vote. This is definitely a time
Absolutely.
that we want all people hands on deck. And just, I think we all get to look at the people that we want to be in this world. And I think let's all try and spread as much love and look out for each other. And so make sure you register to vote. I'm not going to tell you who to vote for, but you know who to vote for, not Trump. Okay, bye. Take care.